Yes. There we go. Oh, jeez. Okay. Deal with that in a minute. We got water. We need to put in those. And we gotta finish doing some service up on the generator. We're going into the first oil change since I did the major rebuild, well, the entire rebuild on it. And some of the gaskets and seals that came with the cheap Taiwanese Chinese kit that I used, they were leaking a bit. I really had bad luck with the whole gaskets and seals on the kit that I used. We were able to use a majority of them, thankfully. I gotta get these guys fed, and we'll get on that. So that's what's going on today. Bit of off-grid living. These are the weaner moms, so they're all weaned out their lambs. That's why they're in here. My shop buddy, he might show up as we're working on the gen set. Hey, bruh. Alrighty. So here's a crank seal. That's the main seal. Here's the O-ring. I just need one of these, but they gave us all of them. And here's the seal rider. So this O-ring goes behind this, and then this goes through that opening there, all on the front end of the engine. The other thing I got to get off is this injection pump, because it's got a bit of a leak around the outside. I think it's because the shim stack doesn't have silicone on it. I hope this will work. We'll sand down that shim stack to get any debris off of it and then silicone that. I have to pull this whole guard off and the radiator off to get to the crank seal because it's also leaking pretty much. You can see it right there. First things first, we got to drain the coolant out because we got to take the rad off. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and get this intake off and these injection lines. Might need to pull off this banjo here as well, or this just because there's a spring that this kind of, which I'm thinking I might have to pull this off too to get to these. I'm just thinking, oh yes I do, damn it. Okay, we gotta get this front piece all off first. So I forgot that there's a spring from in here to here, and then from here to here. So we're gonna have to take off more than I anticipated. So it's not a big deal, but just I forgot. leak from here has been running down and over to this side. Yeah, literally. Okay, so we gotta do the belt. We gotta take the fan off. We gotta undo the belt. Yeah, I can see that leak has been going all the way down. The main seal is leaking, but also this thing has been dripping way down onto everything. Our oil or fuel or whatever has been coming around here and around here. It almost looks like it was coming from one of these injector barrels at the top, but I can't guarantee that. It was running along the front of the head. It comes into this area and down. It comes down here and all the way down, and then it goes along the back side of our oil filter. It's come down here. You can see it went that way along the back side. Right now, this has to come off this bracket. Unless I could cut some of this out right here like I did on the tractor job. It might not be enough. Not your washer down there. Don't want to lose no washers into the engine. That doesn't come out right. Okay, so I need a needle nosers. This hasn't been leaking. Nope. Nope. I will clean this up though. That surface and coat that. Okay, now there's one more. That should be. There we go. A little spring-a-doo. Yeah, looks like it was coming out the back there. There shouldn't be oil on any of that surface. So I think that's what our problem was. But if we look at this, oh yeah, we've got this shim stack. So these are all shimmed out. And if we look at it, it looks like it's been leaking towards the back, or whatever's been leaking over here has been leaking that way. But this is the only thing I can think of that would be throwing oil up here. That's pretty gross. So I'm gonna separate this shim stack, and then we're going to lightly sand it with 1000, and then we'll spray that silicone maker over it once it's all cleaned up, because it's got a little bit of gungy on there, and that would be causing it not to seal 100%. And then in between each one of these shims could be causing it to not seal as well. So we're gonna have to silicone this pack. So the next thing, I gotta get these bolts off of here. We'll disconnect the battery, get the battery up and out of the way, because I gotta get 2 bolts on that side. We're gonna have to block this whole thing up right there and pull this spacer out. We're doing the oil change today because this goes right into the oil area, so I can clean this without worrying that I'm contaminating the oil, because we're gonna be cleaning it out anyways. We will do our best to not contaminate anything as we go. There we go. Okay, cleaned up enough. Oh, I got 2 bolts on this side and then 2 bolts on that side and then this one right here. And then we'll lift this up a touch, slide a board underneath, pull this off, and then we can crank this off. And this won't take any time. Boom! What's up, Hankosaurus? The old man is shedding. Hi. You've shedded. Next thing is just to go in. There we go. There we go. Oh, look at how that's been leaking in there. Hey. I wouldn't recommend chrome sockets for this, but it's all I have that fits. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Now I should have cranked this over because I got a keyway on the bottom. That's the seal rider and that's the seal we're gonna pull out. There, that's on the side now. That's easier to get. Keyway. That seal rider. There we go. Oh, come on. This thing actually isn't in terrible shape. I could have probably reused it. This O-ring is the one I'm questioning. And then, see, this O-ring goes in the backside against the gear, and then this fits through it just like that. That don't look terrible. This rider we could have probably reused, but it's cheap to replace, so I'm just going to do it. Okie dokie. So, where do we start here? New main seal. This one looks like it's, yeah, this new one looks like it's a little bit nicer quality than the one we used. So, yeah, should be all right. Let's get that seal rider. You can see no grooving. They're pretty much going to be identical, but this you can't even feel. So I could probably reuse this one, but like I said, what I will do with this is keep it around. This will be a decent enough spare. This one is going to be good to go. Yeah, there's no real difference, so I know I'm good there. So here's the big thing. I think this O-ring is going to be a big tell. So you can't really tell, but this one looks a touch thicker than this one. So this is garbage. I'm going to throw this out. I'm going to take this and I'm going to throw this one out. We're going to keep this old seal rider with these because you had to buy 5, so not a big deal. And I'm going to start getting prepped to put this together. So Scotch-Brite everything. I'm going to probably put some Loctite on the outside of this. I might Loctite or silicone the inside of this, even though we've got the O-ring, just because. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to put this main seal in first, because trying to get this seal rider on and then putting it over that is really hard. But if you can do this, it actually slides in really nice. So we'll put the O-ring on, we'll put the main seal on, then I'll put the seal rider on. This is really nice because what it does is it means your crank pulley never wears out. So I'm going to use this. This will take a couple hours or a day to dry, but I'll put that on the inside of this and where this meets that O-ring. So we've cleaned all this up real nice, Scotch-Brite and everything. So this pushes right up inside here. And then that pushes in there, and that rides against, there's a steel collar in there that retains the gear. I'm just going to go ahead and test fit this to see how it fits. Ooh, that's tight, which could have been a mistake. Nope, that's good. So push down, I can see a gap on the back, which means that O-ring is thick enough that it's pushing this out. So that's a good thing. So one of my concerns is usually when I put these in, I've got a bearing and seal driver. Well, I don't have one that can go over the snout, so I've got a nice big 1-inch socket, and that will fit right over that without damaging the threads. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my Loctite on this and we'll get this installed. I don't think this is red. I think this is my purple Loctite, which is an actual sealing Loctite. So hopefully that works. Yeah, perfect. It's the purple Loctite, which is what I want, not the red. It's hard to tell what I got around here. That didn't work as well as I'd hoped. Hey guys. Oh, that line, that squared. What the heck? Boom. Don't drink. Nope, nope. Get your nose away from coolant. Bedlam. Hi. Bubby. I don't need your help. We've got it in. It's all good. It's lined up. I see it's good. It's good. It's good. You're good. Help. Hi, Bob. Hi. Hi, guys. I've siliconed the inside and the surface. It's going to touch the O-ring and the crank seal, because once this is clamped, it won't be rotating on the inner shaft. It'll just be rotating and somewhat attached to that inner shaft and then rotating on the exterior. We'll go ahead and get this fitted. Just like that. Let's get that keyway in. There we go. So that should be that. So I've got a container. Whenever my brake cleaner, like either one of these starts to fail or you can't spray it out, I'll just drain it into a container like this so that I can soak parts. So I got these shims in here we got to clean up. Come on. Hard. Hard back. if just do this. Two. Yeah, I gotta tap that out back. All right, let's try this again. So I ran out of memory on the phone when I was doing something, so I went ahead and got this pieced back together. So the rad is all hooked up and back on, all the hose clamps are tight, fans back on, belts back on, tensions adjusted. You can see I sprayed some gasket maker on here. I also cleaned off the surface of the injection pump top and put some gasket maker on there as well, or the injection pump top. The injection pump has been cleaned. So I pulled each one of these shim packs apart, or the shims apart, and I laid them flat on here, and then I just took a 240 grit and I really took off a lot of the rust. So now this is basically clean metal under here. Flip it over and do it. So I'm gonna switch hands here. I think there's 2, 4, 5 shims on here. There was 3 thick ones and then 2 skinny ones. That gives you your fuel pressure. So hopefully we didn't mess it up. I don't think we did. Take this pump cover off on the side. I think I did. Take new one. Oops, nope, there we go. That looks all right. I need that big spring, wherever the heck it is, right there. Goes this way. This was easier without the whole cooler radiator on. pursue, we'll just go ahead and I think we'll get this back together. An intake first, or are we going to do the fuel intake first? Yes, the intake goes on first. That's sealed, that's tightened, this is tightened, injectors are tightened, this fuel line's on, air box is tightened. These are for, I'm not going to put the guards back on just yet. I want to check and see how everything leaks, so we're not worried about those. This, you didn't see me, I didn't take this off, I took this off before, that goes on there. I'm not going to put that on as well until we make sure everything is sealed, not leaking. I'm going to go, oh, I just saw a belt sitting there and I just about had a heart attack. Okay. I gotta add coolant to this, and now we've got to drain the oil. Phone died, like the battery died. I don't remember where I left off. Everything's complete. I just got fuel up to this bleed valve here by running a, because we got the electric lift pump, so I ran a power wire to that and unplugged that and got fuel to there. These are all loosened so that we can get fuel to those. I have to crank it over till fuel spurts out of those and then close those up and it's good to go. I have gotten oil drained out. I've got my new filter on and I'm just filling it now and I'm just trying to see, yeah, this is basically ready to rock. I wasn't too worried about filming an oil change. You've probably seen them. I don't know if we've done a few on here. Maybe we haven't, I don't know. Oil changes are simple. I also cleaned up some of the kitty litter here, but put it over here because I put a little thing to fill the oil here and I was going to hook up the battery back here and I accidentally kicked it and spilt oil all over there. So we'll just leave that there to soak that up. These Kubota diesels run best at 3/4 oil. We're pretty close to that. We've still got to top up the oil filter. That is leaking. I do have another one of these drain petcocks. I should have put it on. It doesn't have the little nipple on the end like this one does. I should have really changed it. This one does leak a bit. That's not a big deal. What might happen is this will get hot and reseat itself and we'll be fine. But worst case is I can go ahead and throw this on. Yeah, we're up above the 3, almost to the 5. So that is fine. I like that. Well, now, my mess everywhere here. We're into the batteries. We got to add water. Now, these are all really dry except for the bad cells. If I got one, there's water in that one. So that cell's bad. It means it doesn't discharge at the same rate as these. These should not be this low on water, but these batteries are all junk anyways. They're at the end of their life cycle. We're going to go ahead and just top up the water because that will give us extra power. It'll make sure that what cells are working are good. We should get 3 days of power for one charge. We're getting 14 hours now of charge if we don't have the sun come out, and then the generator only runs for 2.5 hours to charge it up. Fully discharged bank usually takes 4.5 hours to charge. I got this little thing here and we'll shove this into the holes and you press down like that, and then water will fill these up and it'll stop when it gets to that end there. I only ever use distilled water. There's no impurities in it. So we are going to be changing out our batteries at some point to lithium iron phosphate. Go over that whole thing because everything needs to change. Our whole system needs to change in order to just get updated batteries. So what I'm going to do, instead of using this, I'm going to just dump water into them. Oh, this is so hard to do. We're actually not that low. That's good. Ever since I found that these had bad cells, we've been on top of keeping these topped up because we don't need extra ones starting to fail. Can you give me that funnel that's right there? And then just another distilled water. I got it. I can only do half a bucket at a time. Yeah. They're not in the health to give a shit about doing the water perfectly and taking an electrolyte measurement. It's just water above the plates, and who gives a crap about the rest? Yeah. So that cell's bad. This cell's bad. This cell's bad. Like that's three batteries so far. Each have a cell bad.
How do you know that they're bad?
Because they still have water in them.
Oh.
So the other ones will be drained right down.
Okay.
And then the bad cells won't have any water out of them.
Oh.
Because they're not discharging.
Okay.
Yeah. They aren't going through the chemical process of the electrons or whatever doing their jump across the plates.
Yeah. Boiling.
And boiling and stuff. Yeah. Idiot governments and the tariffs, these went from $300 to $600 in about 4 months because we want to incentivize people to go green, so let's jack the prices of everything by imposing tariffs. We got these just before evacuating, right? And then Kevin got his, and that's how I know they doubled the price, because Kevin said, how much did you guys pay? We're like, I don't know, $340. And Kevin's like, no, I paid $675 or something. It's like, holy shit, what did you get? Like double the size or something? 2 volts? And he's like, no, I got the Alsharette Rolls L6, whatever the hell these are. It's like, that's exactly the same as ours. 99% of batteries come out of China. 98 or something, or 100% of the battery materials to make batteries come out of China. Something stupid like that. You can't not get foreign battery and off-grid parts. Imposing tariffs on that shit, all it does is f people over, and the government doesn't give a shit. They just want to look good to the people that don't understand. And the people that don't understand are like, yeah, everybody needs to go off-grid and go green. And they're like, well, it's not cheap. But as long as the government incentivizes solar panels on rural houses, like in the city, people are like, oh, it's affordable. And then when people that actually live off-grid are like, no, it's not. They're like, well, you got to get the grants. It's like, if you're off-grid, you don't get grants. You don't get it, right? This is a good cell, too. This whole battery is good.
Too. With putting the battery minder thingy on these now help at all?
It could possibly, because it's a desulfator, right?
Yeah.
I know we had these hooked up here somehow, but I just can't do that right now.
Screwed into the...
I think there was a light on these.
There's a light on. There's a light flashing on.
Okay, that one goes to that one, and this one. Okay, I don't know how well they'll work, but
I don't know. It doesn't hurt, right?
I remember getting these with your mom down at the coast. Yep, she's blinking. There we go. There we go. Power poles. Those are working. Those should help try and desulfate these. A good thing Carrie came out and said we had those. They won't hurt anything. They do use a little bit of power, like a tiny bit of power. They might prolong the life of these a little bit. So if we want to change out these batteries, so when we change our batteries, I want to go to a 48 volt system. We have a 24 volt system, which is fine for not what we're using, but that's a 24 volt inverter. This is our charge controller for our solar, for that, and then the one up here. This is maxed out, so we need a bigger one of these. That's for the windmill, doesn't work anymore. Windmill doesn't work anymore. Windmill doesn't work anymore. We need to get another one of those, or a bigger one of those. You can get inverter charge controller in one, which would mean we could get more, because we have another 8 kilowatts of solar that we need to put up, that we have. This is only good for 1.2 kilowatts, and that's maxed out with what we got, or 1500 watts. And we have 1.2, we can't add to that. That needs to be replaced, those need to be replaced, that needs to be replaced. It's all a big thing. Thankfully, the generator is brand new now, so on crappy days, this would charge everything up. And this has an auto start, so whatever inverter we get, we're going to need to have an inverter with an auto start to turn this on so that the batteries never have a chance to run low. With that, I don't see any boys around here. That's why when you're off-grid, you are the power company. So we had to go do the batteries, we had to fix the generator. That's all part of the power. So if you have a power outage when you're on the grid. You just call up the power company, they come and fix it. You sleep through the night, no big deal. This has taken me away from the sheep, which means, and farming duties. You're the service guy, you got to deal with it, you got to figure it out. Or to guys to pay stuff, do the work on the generator. I think $135 an hour, $150 an hour plus call out fees. Anything on the off-grid stuff is close to that $150 to $200 call out fees. So if you can't learn how to do it, you're gonna go broke fast. So that's the deal. Oh, I also got to pull this cover off, and you got to blow all the dust out of this. This inverter is 30 years old. We're trying to just get it through, because when it fails, it's just going to stop working. But that is that. We're done for the day. There's my boys. It's been a few hours. Gasket maker seems to have set. We're going to go ahead and prime this out. So manual's what you want. There is a bit of silicone on that crank stuff that's going to take 24 hours to cure. I want to get this done now. I'm going to have to take a chance on that. Oh shit, I know why, because I didn't open this. Oh, mother. So I forgot to open the fuel valve. So I need to do this. Wondering why I had some issues earlier. Didn't think anything up. Well, we get to watch this again. What? Okay, that's good. Of course. Try this again. Okay. Let's got fuel to the injectors. Almost. It wants to. Oh, I didn't check that fuel pump, fuel plunger. Just double check that when it goes.